I'll protect her, Clara. I swear it. The words fall like stones into rain-soaked earth. Have you ever made a promise you knew would haunt you forever? Ethan Morello stands alone in the old Boston cemetery, water streaming down his coat. Before him, a granite marker reads Clara Evans, beloved, 1991-2019. In his hand, a silver lighter catches the dim light. One word engraved, promise. Behind him, through the fogged car window, a child sleeps. 6 years old. Dark curls against the headrest. She doesn't know her father is talking to ghosts again. The lighter clicks open, clicks shut. A rhythm like a failing heartbeat. What Ethan doesn't know yet, what no one knows, is that keeping this promise will nearly destroy him. That 6 years of guilt and isolation have built walls so high, even his daughter can't climb them. And that a woman he hasn't met yet will be the one to tear those walls down. He had lost the only woman he ever loved, but her final request kept him breathing when he wanted to stop. And sometimes, survival without purpose is the cruelest sentence of all. The rain continues its assault on memory. In the car, Anna stirs, opens her eyes, sees her father's silhouette against gray sky, shoulders hunched under invisible weight. She doesn't call out. She learned long ago not to interrupt his conversations with the woman in the photograph. Instead, she presses her small hand to cold glass, waiting, the way she's waited her whole short life, for him to stop mourning and start seeing her. 6 years earlier, the warehouse on the Boston waterfront was supposed to be neutral ground. That's what they'd told Clara. She'd come because Ethan asked her to, because he said it was the last deal, the final transaction before they could leave this life behind. She'd believed him. She shouldn't have. The Mafia doesn't let go easily. Luca Romano made sure of that. Ethan had been an enforcer once, loyal, efficient, cold when he needed to be. Irish-American blood, Boston bred. The kind of man who handled problems for the family. But Clara changed him, made him want something beyond territory and blood oaths, made him want mornings that didn't taste like guilt. Luca saw weakness, called it betrayal. The ambush came fast, shouting, gunfire ricocheting off metal beams. Clara clutched the baby carrier, trying to shield 3-month-old Anna from the chaos. Ethan arrived 17 minutes too late. He found Clara on the concrete floor, breathing shallow, her hand reaching for the carrier beside her. The baby was crying, unharmed, alive. Clara's eyes found his. Blood stained her blouse, spreading dark across pale fabric. "Promise me," she whispered. "Promise you'll keep her safe." "I will, I swear." "And promise you'll leave, all of it, for her." Clara's voice cracked. "No more violence, no more blood. Just be her father, the man I know you can be." He nodded, hands shaking as he held hers. I promise, Clara." She smiled faintly, touching his face one last time. "Then I'm not afraid." Her hand went still in his. Ethan saw Luca's shadow disappear through the loading dock. He could have followed, could have finished it, could have painted the warehouse red with revenge. But Anna was screaming, and Clara's blood was spreading across the floor, and the choice between vengeance and survival had already been made. He fired one shot toward the exit, a warning, not a kill. The sound echoed, empty, incomplete. Luca vanished into the night, taking his betrayal with him. Ethan picked up the baby carrier, walked out of the warehouse, left Boston behind. Some debts, he thought, can wait. Others never stop collecting. He didn't realize then that the biggest debt wasn't to Luca. It was to the child in his arms, the one whose mother died because of his choices, his world, his inability to leave soon enough. That debt would take 6 years to understand, and a woman named Julia to help him pay it. Present day. Autumn light filters through tall windows. The Morello house sits on the quiet edge of the Boston suburbs, pale stone, trimmed hedges, the kind of place that looks expensive but not lived in. Inside, it's colder still, minimal furniture. No photographs on the walls except one. Clara, smiling, holding a newborn. Mrs. Hayes, the elderly housekeeper who's known Ethan since he was a boy, opens the door. "You must be Miss Bennet." Julia nods, brushing rain from her coat. She's 27, with warm brown eyes and an easy smile, the kind that makes children trust her instantly. She's dressed simply, cream sweater, jeans, a canvas bag full of children's books. "Thank you for seeing me on short notice." Mrs. Hayes leads her through the hall, speaking quietly. "Mr. Morello doesn't interview often. You're the first in 3 months he's agreed to meet. The others didn't understand Anna." Julia glances around. The house is beautiful, and it's suffocating. "Does Anna have many friends?" Mrs. Hayes pauses, her expression sad. She's cautious, keeps to herself, prefers books to people. She lowers her voice. She's afraid of storms, nightmares, won't sleep without a light on. Julia's heart aches. She knows that fear, lived it herself once. "I understand," she says softly. They reach the study. Mrs. Hayes knocks. "Come in." Ethan Morello stands by the window, back to the door. Tall, broad-shouldered, his posture carries the weight of someone used to authority and exhausted by it. When he turns, Julia sees his face, sharp features, dark eyes that assess without warmth. Irish-American heritage in the line of his jaw, the set of his mouth. 35 but looking older, haunted. "Miss Bennet." "Mr. Morello." She extends her hand. His handshake is brief, professional, distant. "You've worked with children before." 4 years at Little Lights Preschool in Providence. Before that, I volunteered at the Hope Street Children's Home. He glances at her resume, eyes catching on one line. "You grew up there." It's not a question. "I did, from age 7. Julia meets his gaze evenly. "I know what it's like to need someone who shows up. That's why I do this work." Something flickers in his expression. Not softness, recognition maybe. Anna is... He hesitates, choosing his words carefully. "Particular. She doesn't warm to people easily. Most caregivers find her difficult. Most children who've experienced loss don't trust easily," Julia says gently. "That's not difficult. That's survival." His eyes narrow slightly. "I didn't mention loss." Julia doesn't flinch. "You didn't have to. This whole house is holding its breath." Silence stretches between them. Outside, wind rattles the window frame. Ethan studies her for a long moment, seeing something in her directness. No pity, no judgment, just understanding. "She's afraid of the dark," he says finally. "Storms, loud noises. She has nightmares about things she shouldn't remember. She was only 3 months old when..." He stops. "When her mother died." "Does she talk about her?" "No, she draws her sometimes. Always in purple. That was Clara's favorite color." His voice tightens. "But she never asks questions, never cries, just stays quiet." Julia nods slowly. Children don't always grieve with words. Sometimes they need permission to feel safe enough to remember. And you think you can give her that? I think I can try, if you let me. Ethan crosses to the door, opens it slightly. Anna, he calls gently. Come here, please. Footsteps, hesitant, small. Anna appears in the doorway, 6 years old. Dark curls like her mother's, her father's guarded eyes. She's holding a stuffed rabbit, worn and loved, one ear slightly torn. This is Miss Julia. She's here to meet you. Anna doesn't move, just stares with those old, careful eyes. Julia crouches down to her level, doesn't reach out, doesn't force a smile, just meets her where she is. Hi, Anna, that's a very special rabbit. What's their name? Silence. Julia waits, doesn't push. Buttons, Anna whispers finally. So quiet, it's almost lost. Buttons, that's a perfect name. Julia's smile is genuine, soft. Mine was called Mr. Whiskers. He was orange and had a tail that fell off, but I kept it in my pocket anyway. The smallest twitch of Anna's mouth, almost a smile. Julia glances around the study, noticing the long shadows in the corners. Your house is really big. Do you ever get scared here at night? Anna nods. Me too, when I was little. Big houses have lots of shadows. Julia reaches into her bag, pulls out a small flashlight shaped like a star. Want to know a secret? Shadows can't catch you if you catch the light first. She clicks it on. A soft, warm glow fills her palm. See? You hold it like this, and wherever you go, the light goes too. The dark has to wait outside. Anna takes a small step forward, then another, her eyes fixed on the glowing star. Julia holds it out. You keep that, just in case the shadows forget their manners. Anna's fingers close around it carefully, like it's made of glass. She looks at her father. He nods, something shifting in his expression. Surprise, maybe. Hope. Thank you, Anna whispers. You're very welcome. Anna doesn't leave, doesn't run back to her room. She just stands there, clicking the flashlight on and off, watching the light appear and disappear, on, off, like a heartbeat. Ethan watches his daughter, really watches her, and sees something he hasn't seen in months. Curiosity, the faint beginning of trust. Miss Bennet, he says quietly, you start tomorrow, 8 a.m. Julia blinks, surprised. You're sure? Anna smiled. He looks at his daughter, then back at Julia. His voice drops, almost vulnerable. That's rare. That's everything. As Julia gathers her things, Ethan walks her to the door. Sunlight breaks through the clouds, casting gold through the greenhouse windows at the end of the hall. Thank you for the chance, Mr. Morello. He doesn't answer right away, just watches the light, the way it transforms the cold hallway into something almost warm. Don't make her care if you're not staying, he says finally. Not harsh, pleading. Julia turns to him, sees the fear beneath the control. I'm not going anywhere. People say that. I know, but I mean it. She holds his gaze. I'll be here at 8 tomorrow and the day after, and the day after that, until Anna doesn't need me anymore. She'll need you for a long time. Julia's smile is sad, knowing. Then I guess you're stuck with me. Behind them, Anna stands in the study doorway, clutching the star flashlight and buttons, watching, listening. For the first time in 6 years, the house doesn't feel quite so cold. Mrs. Hayes appears, touches Ethan's arm gently. She's good, Ethan. Don't let her go. He nods, says nothing. But as Julia walks to her car, he stays at the door, watching, until her taillights disappear around the corner. Then he looks down at Anna. "What do you think, sweetheart?" Anna clicks the flashlight on. The star glows in her small hand. "I think she's nice, and she didn't lie." "How do you know?" "Because she didn't promise. She just said she'd try." Anna looks up at him with those two old eyes. "That's better?" Ethan's throat tightens. He crouches down, pulls his daughter into a hug, rare, brief, but real. "You're right," he whispers. "That is better." And for just a moment, he lets himself believe it. If this story already has you hooked, subscribe now. You won't want to miss what happens next. And if you believe in second chances, you're in the right place. 3 weeks pass like quiet mornings. Julia arrives every day at 8, never late, never makes excuses. She brings books, colored pencils, packets of flower seeds. She doesn't ask about Clara, doesn't pry into Ethan's silence. She just shows up. And slowly Anna begins to unfold. They spend afternoons in the greenhouse, a glass-walled room at the back of the house, filled with plants Mrs. Hayes tends but Anna never touched, until now. "This one's called a violet," Julia says, crouching beside a small purple bloom. "It likes shade. Not everyone needs full sun to grow." Anna touches the petals carefully, gently. "Like me? Exactly like you. Some of us grow best in the quiet places." They plant seeds in terracotta pots, label them with Anna's careful handwriting, water them each morning. Julia explains that growth takes time, that roots form in the dark before anything breaks the surface. "So even when I can't see it, things are growing?" Anna asks. "Always, even when it feels like nothing's happening." Anna considers this, dirt smudged on her cheek. "Miss Julia, did your mom plant things with you?" Julia pauses, her hands stilling in the soil. "I didn't have a mom, sweetheart. She left when I was little. That's why I lived at the children's home." "Did that make you sad?" "For a long time, yes, but then I realized something." Julia brushes Anna's hair back gently. "Family isn't always who you're born to. Sometimes it's who shows up, who stays." Anna's eyes fill with understanding beyond her years. "Like you showed up for me. Like I showed up for you." They continue planting. Anna asks questions, laughs when dirt gets under her fingernails, tells Julia about her dreams, the good ones where her mother sings, and the scary ones where she can't remember her face. Ethan watches from the doorway. He doesn't intrude, but he's there, always there. One evening, Julia is reading to Anna in the living room, where the wild things are. Anna curls against her on the couch, the star flashlight resting on the cushion beside them, buttons tucked under one arm. Ethan walks past, stops, listens to Julia's voice, warm, animated, bringing the story to life. "Dinner's ready," Mrs. Hayes calls from the kitchen. Julia starts to stand. "I should go." "Stay." Ethan's voice is quiet but insistent. "Please." Anna looks up at him, then at Julia. "Please, Miss Julia. We're having pot roast. Mrs. Hayes makes the best pot roast." Julia hesitates. "Are you sure, Mr. Morello?" "Ethan, call me Ethan." He meets her eyes, and yes, I'm sure. So she stays. Dinner is simple but warm. Pot roast, mashed potatoes, roasted carrots. Mrs. Hayes serves and retreats, giving them space, but smiling to herself. They eat in near silence at first. Then Anna starts talking about the violets, about how hers is growing faster than Julia's, about how she wants to plant sunflowers next, tall ones that reach the sky. "Why sunflowers?" Julia asks. Because Mommy liked them. Daddy told me once. Anna looks at Ethan. Right, Daddy. Ethan's hand tightens on his fork. He nods. She did. She said they always looked happy, like they were smiling at the sun. It's the first time he's spoken about Clara in front of Julia. The first time Anna's heard him say anything about her mother in months. The moment hangs there, fragile and precious. Then sunflowers it is, Julia says gently. We'll plant them together. Anna beams. After dinner, Anna goes to wash her hands. Ethan and Julia are alone for the first time all day. You were good with her today, he says, not looking at her. You're always good with her. She makes it easy. Most people find her difficult, too quiet, too serious. Julia shakes her head. She's not difficult. She's careful. There's a difference. Difficult means stubborn without reason. Careful means you've learned that not everyone deserves your trust. Ethan sets down his fork, finally looks at her. Where did you learn that? The orphanage. Julia's voice is steady, honest. I was careful too, for a long time. I wouldn't let anyone close, wouldn't talk in group sessions, just watched, waited to see who would leave. What changed? A teacher, Mrs. Alvarez. She taught 2nd grade. Julia's smile is soft with memory. She never pushed, never demanded. She just showed up every day, sat with me during lunch when I ate alone, read to me when I wouldn't read aloud. And one day, I realized she wasn't going anywhere. So I stopped waiting for her to leave and started letting her in. Ethan is quiet for a long moment. That's motivational, in the truest sense. It saved my life, gave me a reason to believe people could be good. Julia pauses. Anna's waiting for the same thing, Ethan. She's waiting to see if it's safe to love you without losing you. His jaw tightens. I'm her father. I'm not going anywhere. Physically, no, but emotionally? Julia holds his gaze. She needs more than protection. She needs presence. The words land like stones, heavy, true. Ethan looks away, throat working. I don't know how to be what she needs. Every time I look at her, I see Clara. I see everything I failed to protect. Then maybe stop looking at what you lost and start seeing what you have. Julia's voice is gentle but firm. Anna isn't Clara's ghost. She's her own person, and she needs her father, not perfect, not guilt-free, just there. Before Ethan can respond, Anna returns, climbs into her chair. Can Miss Julia stay for the movie? Ethan looks at Julia, something vulnerable in his eyes. Can you? She nods. If you'd like me to. I would. They watch an animated film about a girl who befriends a forest spirit and learns that grief doesn't mean forgetting. It means carrying love forward. Anna falls asleep halfway through, her head on Julia's shoulder, buttons clutched to her chest. Ethan carries her to bed carefully, like she's made of glass. Julia follows, helps tuck her in, turns on the star nightlight. Anna stirs slightly. Miss Julia, I'm here. Will you come back tomorrow? Every tomorrow. Promise? Julia brushes her hair back. I promise. Anna smiles in her sleep. Ethan walks Julia out. They pause in the hallway, the greenhouse visible through the glass doors, moonlight turning the plants silver. She talks about her mother sometimes, Julia says softly. In small ways, like she's testing if it's safe. What does she say? That she remembers her smell, lavender and something warm, that she used to sing at bedtime, that she had a laugh that sounded like music. Julia turns to him. Anna needs to remember her, Ethan. It's not grief she's afraid of, it's forgetting. His jaw tightens. I don't know how to let her remember without it hurting. Maybe it's supposed to hurt, just a little. That's how you know the love was real. Ethan leans against the wall, exhausted. I failed Clara. I brought her into my world, and it killed her. Every day I wake up and remember that Anna is alive because her mother isn't. How do I teach her to remember someone I couldn't save? Julia steps closer, her voice firm. You teach her that loving someone who's gone doesn't mean living in the past. You teach her that Clara's love is still here, in every smile Anna gives, every seed she plants, every moment she chooses to be brave. She pauses. You teach her by being brave enough to remember, too. Ethan meets her eyes, really sees her, this woman who walked into his house and refused to let it stay a tomb. Thank you, he whispers. For what? For making this house feel like home again. For showing Anna and me what it means when someone actually stays. Julia doesn't know what to say, so she just nods. And in that moment, something shifts between them. Something fragile and new. Something that feels dangerously like hope. Good night, Ethan. Good night, Julia. She leaves. He watches from the window until her car disappears. Mrs. Hayes appears beside him, arms crossed. That one's special. I know. Don't let your guilt ruin this. Ethan closes his eyes. I'll try. That's all anyone can do. For the first time in years, the silence in the house feels less like emptiness and more like peace. It's a Thursday when the black car pulls up to the gate. Julia is in the greenhouse with Anna, repotting marigolds. Mrs. Hayes is at the market. Ethan is in his study, reviewing shipping manifests for his logistics company, the legitimate business he built to bury his past. The intercom buzzes. Ethan glances at the monitor. His expression hardens. He knows that car. He walks to the front door, steps outside, closes it behind him. The man who emerges from the vehicle is 40, lean, with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Luca Romano, dressed in an expensive suit, hands in his pockets like he's visiting an old friend. Ethan, it's been a long time. Ethan doesn't move. What do you want? Just to talk. Luca gestures to the house. Nice place. Quiet. Safe. Must have cost you. I'm done with that life. Are you? Luca pulls a photograph from his jacket, hands it to Ethan. It's Clara, smiling, holding infant Anna. Ethan's hand clenches around the picture. You owe me more than money, Ethan. You owe me blood. Or did you forget? I didn't kill you that night. That was the debt paid. Luca laughs, a cold, hollow sound. You fired a warning shot and walked away. That's not mercy. That's cowardice. He steps closer. I'm here to collect what's mine. A new contract. 50% of your company. Or I go to the feds with every name, every shipment, every deal you ever touched. And your little mafia past becomes public record. Ethan's voice drops. Touch my family, and mercy won't be on the table. Your family? Luca glances toward the house, the babysitter, or the kid. Inside the greenhouse, Julia hears raised voices. She moves to the window, sees two men in the driveway. One of them, Ethan, the other, a stranger. Anna tugs her sleeve. Who's that man? I don't know, sweetie. Stay here. Julia steps out through the side door, staying near the garden path, but within earshot. Don't care what you think you're owed, Ethan is saying. You're not getting near them. Luca spots Julia, smiles. Her? She's pretty. Does she know who you really are? Julia freezes. Ethan moves between them. Leave, now. I'll leave, but I'll be back. You have 1 week to decide, Ethan. Business partner or prison? Luca turns, pauses. Oh, and if you try to run again, I'll make sure Clara's grave isn't the only one you're visiting. He gets in the car, drives away. The gate closes with a hollow clang. Julia approaches slowly. Ethan, who was that? He doesn't turn around. No one. That wasn't no one. Julia. Who was he? Her voice is firmer now. And why did he mention Clara? Ethan finally looks at her, and she sees it, the weight, the history, the truth he's been hiding. Someone from before, he says quietly. Before I had Anna, before I left. Left what? He doesn't answer. Julia's heart is pounding. She should walk away. Should leave right now. Should. Anna's voice calls from the greenhouse. Miss Julia, where did you go? Julia looks at Ethan, then at the house, then back at him. I need to know what I'm staying for. You should go. His voice is hollow. This isn't your fight. Julia takes a breath. That's not what I asked. But Ethan turns away, walks back inside, leaves her standing in the garden alone. Julia stays frozen for a moment. Then she follows him in. Anna runs to her, wraps her arms around her waist. You didn't leave. Julia crouches down, holds her tight. No, baby, I didn't. But she catches Ethan's gaze across the room, and she sees the fear behind his eyes. Not fear of Luca, fear of losing what he's just started to rebuild. That night, Julia doesn't go home right away. She sits in her car outside the house, hands gripping the steering wheel. She should leave. She knows that. But when she closes her eyes, she sees Anna's face, hears her small voice. You didn't leave. Julia exhales, starts the engine. Comes back the next morning at 8. Ethan opens the door, looks at her, surprised. I'm staying, Julia says simply, but I need the truth. He nods slowly. You'll have it. Just not yet, but he doesn't get the chance. 3 days later, Julia is taken. She's leaving the house at dusk, walking to her car when a van pulls up. 2 men, efficient, silent, a hand over her mouth, an arm around her waist. She's inside before she can scream. The star flashlight falls from her bag onto the driveway. Anna finds it an hour later. She runs inside, crying. Miss Julia's light! She dropped it. Ethan goes cold. He finds Julia's car still parked, her bag on the ground. No sign of struggle, because it was over too fast. His phone buzzes, unknown number. A text, old doc, midnight, come alone, bring the contract. Or she doesn't leave. Ethan stares at the message. His hands shake. Mrs. Hayes takes Anna to her room. Ethan calls Father Thomas, the priest at the old church near the port, the only man who knows the whole truth. He has her, Ethan says. Luca has Julia. Father Thomas is silent for a moment. What are you going to do? What I have to. Ethan, I can't let her die because of me. And you can't become who you were either. Not for revenge, not even for rescue. Ethan closes his eyes. Then what do I do? You save her, but you do it as the man you are now, not the man you used to be. Ethan hangs up, looks at the silver lighter on his desk. Promise. He made a promise to Clara, to protect Anna, to leave the violence behind. But Julia's life is on the line. Some promises, he realizes, require breaking others. The old dock is abandoned, rusted cranes silhouetted against the night sky, water laps against rotting wood. The air smells like salt and gasoline. Ethan arrives at midnight, alone, unarmed. Luca is waiting. Julia is tied to a chair near the edge of the dock, duct tape over her mouth. She's unharmed, but terrified. "You came," Luca says, almost surprised. "I thought you'd run again." "Let her go. Sign first." Luca tosses a folder at Ethan's feet. 50%. Your signature. Then she walks. Ethan picks up the folder, looks at Julia. Her eyes are wide, pleading, but not for rescue, for something else. She's trying to tell him something. "You really think you can just walk back in and take what's mine?" Ethan says slowly. "I don't think, I know. Because you're soft now. You care. That's weakness." Ethan looks down at the contract, at Clara's lighter in his pocket. "Promise you'll leave, all of it." For her. He made that promise, but he also made another. Keep her safe. Both promises, both sacred. Ethan looks up. "You're right, I do care. That's not weakness, Luca. That's the only reason I'm still alive." He drops the contract, unsigned. Luca's face darkens. "Then she dies." "No." Ethan's voice is steady, calm. "You do." Luca reaches for his gun. Julia throws herself backward, chair and all, tipping off the dock into the water. Luca turns, startled. Ethan lunges forward, knocks the gun from his hand. It skids across the dock. Behind them, headlights flood the area. Police sirens wail. Father Thomas steps out of a patrol car, holding a folder. "Evidence," he says quietly to the officers. "Everything you need." Luca stares. I gave it to them," Ethan says. "Every record, every name, yours, not mine. Mine were already buried. But yours, you're done, Luca." Julia surfaces, gasping, hands still bound. Ethan dives in, pulls her up, cuts the ropes with a pocket knife. She clings to him, shaking. "You didn't kill him." "No." He holds her close, water streaming down their faces. "I didn't." On the dock, officers cuff Luca. He's shouting, thrashing, but it's over. Father Thomas approaches the edge. "You kept your promise, Ethan, both of them." Ethan looks at Julia, at the woman who stayed when she should have run, who believed he could be more than his past. "I almost lost you," he whispers, "but you didn't." Julia touches his face. "You chose right." They climb out of the water, drenched and exhausted. Ethan wraps his coat around her shoulders. As the police cars pull away, Ethan looks back at the dock, the place where it all began, where Clara died, where Luca took his last shot at destruction. But this time, violence didn't win. Morality did. Choice did. Love did. Julia wakes in the greenhouse. Soft morning light filters through the glass. She's on the wicker sofa, a blanket tucked around her shoulders. The scent of coffee and earth fills the air. Ethan sits across from her in a chair, elbows on his knees, head bowed, waiting. "How long was I asleep?" she asks. 4 hours. Mrs. Hayes made tea. Anna's still in bed." Julia sits up slowly. Her clothes are dry. Someone changed them. Probably Mrs. Hayes. "You stayed." "I wasn't leaving." They sit in silence. Outside, birds begin their morning songs. "I need to tell you everything," Ethan says finally. "If you're going to stay, you deserve the truth." Julia pulls the blanket tighter. "Okay." He looks at her then, fully, honestly. No walls. "I was part of the Irish Mafia in Boston. Not leadership, just enforcement. I was good at it. Too good. And I thought that was all I'd ever be." He pauses, swallows. "Then I met Clara. She was a paralegal at a nonprofit, represented families caught in gang violence. She saw me for what I was and still believed I could be more. Julia listens without interrupting. I tried to leave, made a deal to get out clean. But Luca saw it as betrayal. He ambushed us at the warehouse. Clara was there because I brought her. I thought it was safe. His voice cracks. It wasn't. She died holding our daughter. The last thing she asked was for me to leave that life, to keep Anna safe. He pulls the lighter from his pocket, shows Julia the engraving. This was hers, a reminder of the promise I made. Julia reaches out, touches the lighter gently. You kept it, all these years. It's all I had left of her, that and Anna. He looks at Julia, eyes red. I thought keeping my promise meant shutting everyone else out. That if I stayed distant, stayed cold, I could keep Anna safe by never letting anyone close enough to hurt her again. Ethan, but I was wrong. I wasn't protecting her. I was suffocating her, and myself. He leans forward. Then you walked into this house, and you didn't see a broken man or a dead woman's ghost. You just saw a little girl who needed someone to show up. And you did, every single day. Julia's eyes well with tears. I failed Clara, Ethan whispers. I thought protecting her child would redeem me. But I forgot what love feels like. Until you... Julia wipes her eyes, shakes her head. You don't need redemption, Ethan. You just need to stop punishing yourself. I don't know how. You start by believing you're more than your worst moment. She reaches for his hand. Clara saw it. Anna sees it. I see it. Maybe it's time you see it too. Ethan's fingers close around hers. His shoulders shake. And for the first time in 6 years, he lets himself break. Julia moves to sit beside him, holds him while he cries, silent, shuddering sobs that carry the weight of grief, guilt, and the faint, fragile hope of forgiveness. When he finally quiets, she doesn't let go. I'm scared, he admits, of failing again, of losing you. You won't. You can't promise that. No, but I can promise I'm not going anywhere. She tilts his face up to meet hers. I'm staying, Ethan, not because you need saving, because I want to. Why? Because you make me believe in second chances, and I think you need to believe in them too. He looks at her, really looks, sees the woman who walked into his life and refused to leave, who stayed when it was dangerous, who believed in him when he'd stopped believing in himself. I don't deserve you. Maybe not, but you've got me anyway. Ethan almost smiles. That sounds like something Mrs. Alvarez would say. It is. She was right about a lot of things. He threads his fingers through hers. Can I try this with you? Try what? Not being alone. Julia leans her forehead against his. You were never alone, Ethan. You just weren't looking. They sit together in the greenhouse as the sun rises fully, two people, scarred and scared, choosing each other anyway. Anna appears in the doorway, sleepy-eyed, holding her rabbit. Miss Julia, Julia smiles. Hey, baby. You're still here? I'm still here. Anna climbs onto the sofa between them. Ethan wraps an arm around his daughter. Julia takes her hand. And for the first time since Clara died, the house feels whole. 1 year later, the building on the corner of Warren and Oak was once a boxing gym, then a warehouse, then nothing. Now it's the Clara Evans Foundation, a community center for children in foster care, runaways, and families rebuilding after trauma. The sign above the door is simple, no grand statements, just a name, a legacy. Inside, the main hall is bright and warm. Art on the walls, paintings by kids, handprints in rainbow colors, clay sculptures drying on shelves. a library in the corner, a kitchen where volunteers teach cooking classes, a music room with donated instruments. Julia runs the art program. Tuesday and Thursday evenings, she sits with a dozen children, teaching them to paint what they feel instead of what they fear. One of the kids, a 9-year-old named Marco, holds up a canvas covered in deep blues and soft golds. "What do you think, Miss Julia?" "I think it's beautiful. What is it?" "It's the ocean, but not the scary part. The part where the sun comes up." Julia smiles. "That's my favorite part too." In the courtyard, Anna plays with other children her age. She's 7 now, taller, braver, still carries her rabbit, still keeps the star flashlight on her nightstand. But she laughs more, speaks more, trusts more. Ethan watches from the office window upstairs. His logistics company is still running, legitimately, transparently. But most of his time now is spent here, managing the foundation, meeting with social workers, coordinating with schools and shelters. Father Thomas stops by every week, offers counsel, helps interview volunteers. He doesn't speak of the past, only the present, the work. "Attendance is up," he tells Ethan. 43 kids this month. "Good, that's good. Clara would be proud." Ethan looks at the lighter on his desk. He doesn't carry it anymore, doesn't need to. "She'd be proud of you," Father Thomas continues. "Of this, of the man you've become." Ethan picks up the lighter, turns it over in his hands. "It started as a promise to the dead." He sets it down gently. "Now it's a promise to the living." Father Thomas nods, leaves him to his thoughts. Later that evening, after the center closes, Julia finds Ethan in the courtyard. He's planting something, sunflowers, bright yellow seeds pressed into dark soil. "Anna's idea," he says when Julia sits beside him. "She wants them to greet everyone who walks in." That's perfect. They work in comfortable silence for a while. The sky turns pink, then gold, then deep purple. "Do you ever think about what would have happened if I hadn't stayed?" Julia asks. Ethan pauses. "Every day?" And I'm grateful I'll never have to know." He looks at her. "You saved me, Julia. Not that night at the dock, but every day before it, just by being here." "You saved yourself. I just reminded you that you could." He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a small box, opens it. Inside is a simple ring, silver with a single engraved word, "Stay." Julia's breath catches. "I'm not asking you to marry me," Ethan says quietly. "Not yet, but I'm asking you to keep choosing this, us, every day, the way you've already been doing." Julia takes the ring, slides it onto her finger. It fits perfectly. "I will," she whispers, "every single day." He kisses her then, soft, tender, full of the kind of love that grows slowly, rooted in truth. Anna runs over, breathless. "Can we go to the pier, please?" Ethan looks at Julia. She nods. They walk together through the city, father, daughter, and the woman who became family not by blood, but by choice. The pier stretches out over the water, the same one where everything nearly ended. But tonight it's different. String lights have been hung between the posts. Families stroll along the boardwalk. Children chase each other, laughing. Anna runs ahead, arms spread wide like she's flying. Julia leans into Ethan. She's happy. She is. He watches his daughter, then looks at Julia. We all are. They reach the end of the pier. The sun is setting, brilliant orange and pink, spreading across the horizon. The water reflects it back, doubling the light. Anna points. "Look, it's like the world is on fire, but the good kind." Julia laughs. "The good kind, I like that. Ethan pulls the lighter from his pocket one last time. He's been carrying it today, not out of habit, but for this moment. He holds it up to the light, reads the word engraved there, promise. I kept my promise to you, Clara, he says softly. I protected her. I left that life. I became the man you believed I could be. Julia takes his hand. Anna comes to stand between them. But now I need to make a new promise, Ethan continues, to Anna, to Julia, to myself. He looks at the lighter one more time, this small piece of silver that carried 6 years of grief, guilt, and devotion. Then he sets it down on the pier railing, not thrown away, not abandoned, just released. I promise to live, he says. Not just survive, not just protect, but to really live, to love without fear, to build instead of hiding, to let the past be past. Anna looks up at him. Is that an inspirational speech, Daddy? He smiles, genuinely, fully. Maybe it is, sweetheart. Julia kisses his cheek. It's a good one. They turn back toward the boardwalk, leaving the lighter behind. The setting sun catches it, makes it gleam one final time before the darkness comes. But they're already walking away, into the light. 2 months later. The grand opening of the Foundation's new wing draws a crowd. Local officials, donors, families who've been helped by the programs. Ethan gives a short speech, awkward at first, then finding his rhythm. He talks about second chances, about how one person showing up can change everything, about how the past doesn't have to define the future. He doesn't mention the mafia, doesn't talk about violence or loss. Those stories belong to yesterday. Today is about something else. My daughter once told me that hope is like planting seeds, Ethan says, looking at Anna in the front row. You put them in the ground, cover them with dirt, and wait, and for a while nothing happens. You think maybe you did it wrong, maybe it won't work. Anna smiles, but then one morning you see a tiny green shoot, and you realize it was growing the whole time. You just couldn't see it yet. He looks at Julia, standing beside Anna. This foundation is that shoot. It's small, it's new, but it's growing, and it's going to keep growing. Because every child deserves someone who shows up, who stays, who believes they're worth the wait. The crowd applauses. Anna runs up and hugs him. Julia joins them, and the three stand together at the podium. A family built not on perfection, but on choice. Mrs. Hayes watches from the side, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief. Father Thomas stands beside her, nodding in approval. He did it, Mrs. Hayes whispers. He really did it. He always had it in him, Father Thomas replies. He just needed someone to remind him. Later, after everyone leaves, Ethan finds Julia in the art room. She's cleaning brushes, humming softly. You were amazing today, she says without turning around. I was terrified. I know, that's what made it amazing. She sets down the brushes, turns to face him. You told the truth, your truth, that takes courage. He crosses to her, takes her hands. I couldn't have done any of this without you. Yes, you could have, but I'm glad you didn't have to. He pulls her close, rests his forehead against hers. Marry me. Julia blinks. What? Marry me, not because I need saving, not because Anna needs a mother, but because I love you, because you make me want to be the man I'm becoming, because every day with you feels like coming home. Tears stream down Julia's face. Yes, yes, of course, yes. He kisses her, deep, certain, full of the kind of romance that doesn't come from grand gestures, but from 1,000 small moments of showing up. Anna appears in the doorway, holding her rabbit. "Are you guys getting married?" They break apart, laughing. "We are," Julia says, pulling her into the embrace. "Is that okay with you?" Anna grins. "Can I be the flower girl?" "You can be anything you want." The three of them stand there in the art room, surrounded by children's paintings and clay sculptures and unfinished projects. All the messy, beautiful evidence of growth. Outside, night falls. The string lights flicker on. The foundation glows warm and golden against the darkness. This building was supposed to be nothing, just another abandoned space in a city full of them. But it became something more. A place where broken things are mended, where lost children find belonging, where a man who thought he was beyond redemption discovered that love is the most motivational force in the universe, stronger than guilt, more powerful than fear, more enduring than regret. It's not a perfect story. There are still hard days, still moments of doubt, still scars that ache when the weather changes. But perfection was never the point. Healing was, growth was. Choosing love over and over again, even when it's difficult, even when it's scary, even when the past whispers that you don't deserve it. That's the real promise. Not to be flawless, but to keep trying, to keep showing up, to keep planting seeds and trusting that something beautiful will grow. Ethan locks up the foundation. Julia holds Anna's hand as they walk to the car. The city buzzes around them, sirens in the distance, laughter from a nearby restaurant, the hum of traffic. Normal sounds, safe sounds, home sounds. Anna looks up at the stars. "Do you think Mommy can see us?" Ethan crouches down to her level. "I think she can, and I think she's proud of you." "Of you too, Daddy." He nods, throat tight. "I hope so." "She is," Julia says softly. "I'm sure of it." They drive home through the quiet streets. Anna falls asleep in the back seat. Julia takes Ethan's hand across the console. No words are needed. They've said everything that matters. When they arrive home, Ethan carries Anna inside, tucks her into bed, kisses her forehead, turns on the star-shaped nightlight, the one Julia gave her that first day. It still glows, still chases the shadows away. Julia waits in the doorway. "She's going to be okay. You know that, right?" "I do now." They retreat to their own room, the one that used to feel like a mausoleum, but now feels like sanctuary. Ethan opens the drawer of his nightstand. Inside is Clara's lighter. He took it back from the pier after a week, unable to fully let go. But he doesn't carry it anymore. "Do you think I should give this to Anna someday?" he asks. "So she has something of her mother's?" Julia sits beside him. "I think when she's ready, you'll know." He closes the drawer. "Thank you." "For what?" "For not asking me to forget her, for making room for all of it, the grief, the guilt, the love, for understanding that moving forward doesn't mean leaving her behind." Julia rests her head on his shoulder. "You loved her. That doesn't go away just because I'm here now. Love doesn't work that way. There's room for both." And there is, in this house, in this life, in this heart that thought it was too broken to ever beat fully again. They lie down together, wrapped in each other's arms. The house settles around them, creaking floorboards, humming refrigerator, the distant sound of Anna's gentle breathing. Home sounds. Ethan closes his eyes. For the first time in 6 years, he doesn't dream of the warehouse, doesn't see blood on concrete or Clara's fading smile. He dreams of sunflowers growing in the courtyard, of Anna running through the art room, paint on her hands, of Julia laughing in the greenhouse, dirt under her fingernails. He dreams of tomorrow, and the day after, and all the days that follow. He dreams of life, and when he wakes in the morning, sunlight streaming through the window, Julia beside him, Anna's footsteps padding down the hall, he realizes something profound. The promise he made to Clara wasn't just about protection or sacrifice. It was about transformation, about becoming the man who could love again, who could trust again, who could build a future instead of just guarding against the past. He kept his promise, not by closing his heart, but by opening it. Anna bursts into the room. "Can we make pancakes?" Ethan smiles. "We can make anything you want." "Pancakes it is then," she bounces out. Julia stretches, kisses Ethan's shoulder. "Morning," she murmurs. "Morning." They rise, dress, make their way to the kitchen. Mrs. Hayes is already there, setting out ingredients. "Pancake day, is it?" "Apparently," Ethan says, ruffling Anna's hair. They cook together, measuring, mixing, flipping. Anna insists on adding chocolate chips. Julia sneaks blueberries into half the batch. Ethan burns the first one and makes everyone laugh. It's chaotic, messy, imperfect. It's everything. They eat at the kitchen table, sunlight pouring through the windows. Anna talks about her plans for the day. Art class, then the park, then helping Mrs. Hayes with the garden. Ethan listens, contributes, laughs at her jokes. Julia watches him and sees the man he was always meant to be. Not the enforcer, not the widower, not the ghost, just Ethan, father, partner, survivor, builder of new things. After breakfast, they walk Anna to the foundation. She runs inside, greets the other children, dives into her day. Ethan and Julia stand outside, hand in hand. "Do you ever think about how different things could have been?" she asks. "Sometimes, but not with regret. Just wonder." "Wonder what?" "What I did to deserve this, to deserve you." Julia squeezes his hand. "You chose it. Every day, that's what you did." He nods, believes her. They walk back home together, past the gardens, past the greenhouse, past the gate where Luca once stood and threatened to take everything. But Luca is in prison now. The past is settled. The debts are paid. All that's left is the future, and it's bright, so bright. Love doesn't erase the past. It doesn't rewrite history or undo pain or make the scars disappear. But it does something more powerful. It teaches you that you're more than your worst moment, more than your deepest regret, more than the promises you broke or the people you couldn't save. Love teaches you that redemption isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up, even when you're scared, especially when you're scared. It's about choosing every single day to be better than you were yesterday. Ethan Morello made a promise to a dying woman, and he kept it. But the real promise, the one that saved him, was the one he made to himself: to live, to love, to believe that second chances aren't just for other people. They're for him too, for all of us. Because if a man who lost everything can build something beautiful from the ruins, then maybe we all can. Maybe that's the point. Not to avoid the breaking, but to learn how to grow from it. Not to fear the darkness, but to carry a light through it. Not to run from the past, but to plant seeds in its soil and watch them bloom. That's the promise worth keeping. The one that says, no matter what, I will keep trying. I will keep showing up. I will keep choosing love. Even when it's hard. especially when it's hard, because that's what makes it real. And Ethan Morello, former enforcer, widowed father, broken man, discovered that real is enough, more than enough. It's everything. Thank you for spending this hour with Ethan, Julia, and Anna. Their story is about second chances, about the courage it takes to choose redemption over revenge, love over fear, and life over mere survival. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that it's never too late to become who you're meant to be, please subscribe to this channel. Every night, we bring you stories of redemption, romance, and the quiet strength it takes to choose love when fear would be easier. Leave a comment and tell me, what promise are you keeping today? What second chance are you giving yourself? I'd love to hear your story. I'll see you tomorrow night with another tale of love, courage, and the power of showing up. Sleep well, and remember, your story isn't over yet. The best chapters might still be unwritten.